Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in your ass screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-Prop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTB screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies.
Welcome to Season 3 of the Balking Dead, fellas, on this glorious Friday afternoon, after Scuba puts a little bit of money in our pockets. I'm host, Sharpie's Bets, and this is the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. And on Fridays, we bring in the only guy that I talk K-props with, a guy where we didn't really much message each other for 4 straight months. Yet as soon as baseball came around, we talk every fucking day. I know him as Chris. You know him as Spin Doc. So without further ado, my guy, how you been?
Doing well. Ben, I decided to approach the MLB season a little bit differently this year. I took the first week and a half, 2 weeks, and instead of just doing full unit plays and just kind of just going all in, I started doing some half unit plays with some new tweaks to my model that I was testing, had some good results. And, I kind of look at it like when a team stretches out a starter, first start, you go 65, 75 pitches and you see what you can do. And then you're up to 85 and we're almost in full midseason mode here. So, yeah. So this appearance is coinciding nicely. So got a whole bunch of guys to talk about today.
Bunch of guys and a couple little titty capper plays out there, man. There's some traps out there, and that's what we're here to talk about. This show is not sponsored by no one. We're doing this out of our own generosity, so do us a favor and smash that like button, as we do appreciate you finding your way over to this channel. This show is Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. On this show, we will talk the opening line of pitching props as well as the closing K-prop line 1 hour prior to the show going live. Of course, we will be going off 2023 numbers for the first few weeks, as that's what we have to go by. Do me a favor, if you like what you hear, and smash the like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Drop your best bets or any questions in the chat, and we will get them time permitting at the end. Well, guys, first guy on the board, and we always talk 6, is a guy that happens to be on a back-to-back. We're only going to talk about this side of the back-to-back. We might talk about it at the end if you guys want to talk about a little bit of Hicks. But let's talk us a little bit of Dylan Cease. Number 5 in the black book, striking people out last year 27.5% of the time, while walking people at a 10.5% clip. Opening line was 7+ at -120 on BetMGM, where the best line available to that 6.5 is -115 on DraftKings. Pitching outs under over 16.5, -133, juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 +120 to the over. Let's talk Dylan Cease.
All right. So Mr. Dylan Cease, like you said, on a back-to-back, veteran pitcher. So not sure that that's going to affect him a ton. I went back and looked, and he's got he's got decent history on back-to-backs. He's not a guy, even when he was with the White Sox or elsewhere, that I would look to just automatically fade on a back-to-back. But with him, I look for a few things. Number one is Cease really only throws 2 pitches. He throws a 4-seamer and he throws a slider. And the velo for the 4-seamer was up in his first start. The velo for the slider was up. But the one thing that you need when you're against this Giants lineup is you need to be able to get guys to swing, or actually you need to be able to make guys miss. The reason being is the Giants this year have been one of the most aggressive teams in Major League Baseball at the plate. They actually rank they rank decently highly in swing rate inside the zone. They actually have a decently high swing rate altogether, and they rank near the top in first pitch strike percentage. The reason why that is because pitchers have been attacking them with fastballs that and high velo fastballs specifically can make them swing and foul the pitch off. So when I'm looking at this one, I look to see what Cease's whiff rate is. It's 31.6 in his first start against the same team. That matches up 31.5% with his career numbers. That actually matches up pretty well with what he was last year as well. He also has been he also hit the zone more in his first start. So when you hit the zone against this team, you can get them to swing and you can get them to miss. Now, here's the problem that we have with that I personally have with Cease is that his 4-seam fastball, which had average break anyway, his horizontal break on his fastball, horizontal movement was 3.2 inches last year. It's only 1.9 so far this year. That actually matches up pretty well with what it was in spring training. And his slider vertical drop is about the same. But when that fastball doesn't have a whole lot of movement, when you're a pitcher that can only throw 2 pitches on a back-to-back, I'm not really actively looking to play this one. But if I was, I might give just a slight look on the under, but nothing official from me.
Yeah, man. We know he's a 2-pitch pitcher, but I was telling you, dude, like he threw 4 or 5 ephyses in that last Giants game. He throwing 97, 98 and coming out with a 94 mile per hour Zach Greinke pitch. If he ever gets that as a legit pitch, that might be fucking dangerous.
That'd be fun.
That's gonna be dangerous.
I love watching pitchers throw ephyses. If anybody in the chat doesn't know what it is, go on YouTube and look up ephys. It's like a softball pitch, literally.
It just floats up there. And when you throw 98, you're taking that shit all day. You're not swinging it. You're like, oh my God, don't be a strike. Oh my God. But I do all my write-ups for the show, guys, before lineups come out. And then if lineups come out, I go back in at the bottom and I chirp it in there. So here we go. We start the day off talking about Dylan Cease, where last week he went 4.2 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, and struck out 6 batters on 85 pitches. And his K prop was set at a 6.5, and that's the same exact number we have today. And it should be the same number, guys, whether he smacked them or he had 3, as the books don't adjust on back-to-backs, let alone after 1 or 2 starts. And when we look at last year's back-to-backs with Cease, he had 4 of them. And only 1 time did he hit his K prop and then go over the next week, with having less strikeouts in 3 of the 4 games that he played in. So K props for San Francisco. Me personally, I like to run guys with high velocity, and we know Cease has that. He had 6 punch outs the first game in 85 pitches. He also faced them last year where he slayed them. 5 innings, 8 punch outs on 99 pitches. So it's definitely there. And the fact that he only had 6 last week isn't the end-all be-all when you're coming to betting a person's back-to-back. If they go crazy, you look to go under. If they have a shitty day, you look to go over. That's just the way it goes. That's the way I bet it, or I will stay off of it. Now, there isn't much past history in the lineup, but there's 3 guys who struggle at least 7 at-bats up to 21. And that's Soler, Chapman, and Conforto. And I was hoping to God they at least sat Soler. I would have dealt with the under with Chapman and Conforto, but he legit got a shot at the over now on this, guys, because they put The 3 guys striking out at a 45% clip to Cease. 3 of the first 4 batters in the lineup. Now, I wanted to bang his under. It's not just a back-to-back to me. This is the Giants seeing this fucker 3 times. What did we say the other day when I took down freaking Glasnow and I bet the team total under? Glasnow is just Cease on PCP. So now they've seen Cease, Glasnow, back to Cease, bro. If there was a time he got cracked, it's fucking today, bro. It's today, and I wanted it. I wanted the under, but the fact that the Giants don't fucking care about winning, and they put a guy who's like 0 for 17 lifetime with 10 strikeouts, 3rd in the lineup, get the fuck out of here, bro. So I wanted the under. I can see the over, and the fact that I can see both means I'm good. I got to let it be. And that's where me and this guy started hitting it crazy percentages. When you do an hour's worth of work and say, I'm not going to bet it. And there's some days where I end up with nothing after breaking down everything. And that's where it's like, you know what, bro? I made it. I'm making money now, bitches. Ooh, they in trouble. Now let's talk about trouble, as there may be a little bit of trouble out there right now, fellas. Hunter Greene versus the Mets, striking people out at a 30.5% clip while walking people 9.5% of the time last year. They opened them up at 7.5 minus 125 on DraftKings, where the best line now is plus 108 on FanDuel. Pitching outs under over 17.5 minus 123 juice to the under, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 plus 115 juice to the over. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. Let's talk about the newest split finger fastball thrower.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got it in his repertoire. He didn't really throw it a lot in his first start. He only threw it 6. He only threw 6 of them in his first start, but that is expected to increase, and that's one of the keys that I looked at with this one. I also see a couple things from his first start is 4-seam fastball, which averaged last year 98.3, was somehow up in his first start at 99.6. So literally over 100 pitches, averaging 100 miles an hour on a 4-seamer. His slider, same exact thing. It was 87 last year. It's 87 this year. When I look at Hunter Greene, me and Sharpie both like to try to read the tea leaves on lines. And what I see for Hunter Greene is, yeah, I know it was opening day, but he was against the Nationals, and he had a 6.5 line, which he missed. He got 6. Reason why he missed it was because he was wild. He walked 4 guys, ran his pitch count up too high, didn't have a chance to get it. Now, what he did have, though, which is actually really interesting when you're facing off against a team like the Nats, his career average for whiff percentage was 31.4. He was at 36.2 that game. The reason why that's important is overall, despite not being a very good team in general, the Nationals don't have a very high whiff percentage. For the season so far this year, they are below league average. League average is 11.4 as of today. They're at 11. And the same thing goes with CSW percent, which is called strikes and whiffs. League average 27.7, and Nationals are at 25.6. So you factor all of those things into play, and you also factor in that the Nationals have an overall pretty low strikeout percentage for the season. And now he gets the Mets, who have about the same strikeout percentage for the season, especially against righties, that the Nationals do. And you give him a 7.5 instead of a 6.5. His innings are up from 5 to 6, but his earned runs, hits, and walks all stay the same. What that's telling you is they think he's going to go deeper, which would indicate that he would clear up his control issues, which caused the 4 walks. Even in the first, so 4 walks in the first game, and his prop is very, very steadily been at 2 today. Actually, I think it's 1.5 juice to the over. So basically 2 walks for a guy that walked 4 and couldn't get out of the 5th inning last time. When I look at this and I look at the velocity that Greene throws with, when I also look at some of the guys that are projected to be in the Mets lineup and how they handle high velo fastballs, even though the history against this team, which is another factor here, projected lineup only 13 strikeouts and 60 plate appearances. So all that into play, and you bump him up and you bump his innings up. When I look at that, that to me tells me that they are begging for under money on this one. They've kept the juice reasonable all day. It's hovered between -125 and -135. That is a number that all of the public people on Twitter who love to give 50,000 unit bomb max plays and stupid shit like that, that's the kind of shit that they love to bet. So what am I doing? I'm going the other way. I personally think that there's enough people that struggle with high velo in this. And the walks prop also tells me when they didn't move it at all after he walked 4 guys and actually got 3 ball counts and I think 5 or 6 more, that tells me that at least the books think that he's going to get his fastball under control here. So you give me that at plus money. I also look at the Mets have one of the lowest swing rates inside the zone. MLB average is 69% so far, so pitches that are actually strikes. Mets only swing 62.7% of the time. They're also one of the highest teams in the league, or highest percentage in the league so far, about going down on 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, basically pitchers counts. And when you do that against Hunter Greene, when you do that with that fastball, and you factor in that I've read reports that he's going to throw the splitter more as the season progresses. To me, this is a very easy one to take a shot at the 7.5. So I know I said I would do, for those that follow me on Twitter, I would do 2 tout plays today. We'll make this the first one. Hunter Greene over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 108. That's on FanDuel. Note, if you're going to take the over for this one, it was at plus money. It's starting to go. I've even seen it juiced at minus 110 on some places. I don't love it as much on that, but I think it's still playable. I think anything beyond minus 115, the risk that you're paying for here, if you're going to take it juiced, is that he does not regain the command that was a little bit lacking in the first one, and that the pitch count just gets racked up too high to hit this one. But the table's set. He can easily do it.
Yeah, man. Like, I had to check like 3 times, and I know you bet Greene last week. He got 7 strikeouts. I checked 3 different apps. He got 7 last week. So you
what
might
did I say yet? 6?
You got 6, but I think you said if you graded that as a loss for you, that's a win, bro. Because I know you bet it.
No. I didn't take him last week.
No, I thought you were going to. Okay, beforehand, you're like, I'm thinking about Greene. You should have. You would have hit.
Yeah, I didn't take him last week. I actually try not to play guys against the Nationals unless Gallo is in the first 4.
Gallo's there now, bro. It's not, we're going to pick on the Nationals, though. Like you said, at times, there will be times, unlike last year. Just like we picked on the Cleveland earlier with Castillo. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to, bro. They're not the same teams as last year. So last week, Greene was at a 6.5, like my boy just said, for his K prop. In his first start versus the Nationals, and he went 4.2 innings, 2 earned runs, punched out 7. Yet he did walk 4 people, and they jumped him up 1 versus a Mets team that through the years have been one tough cookie when it comes to running K-props over. So let's go see if Greene has seen these Mets in his career, as he's seen them 2 times. 2 years ago, he went 5.1 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, only had 5 punch-outs, or he's seen them 3 times. And then 2 times last year. The first game, 5.1 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Then the next game, 5.2 innings, 2 earned runs, and 6 punch-outs. So we know by the 3 games, the batter versus pitcher stats are going to scream under. As in 6 guys in this projected lineup have at least 5 at-bats versus Greene with a total of 41. And they're striking out below 20% at 19.5. Yet they jumped him up. I say this, guys, because the books ain't fucking dumb. They take in past history more than anything else when it comes to setting these lines. Look what they did with Pablo yesterday, guys. The past history. So they dropped him. The past history is screaming death under. But yet they have you sitting there at 1 more strikeout than he was last week versus a team in his career that he's never came close to hitting this number. I don't know how it happens, but in my eyes, it's either over or nothing. And for the fact that I can't figure out how it happens, other than how many lefties they're supposed to project, because this man has struck out lefties at a Strider-esque 34% K rate throughout his career, but it's never helped him versus this team in the past who's always ran out a bunch of lefties. So I'm struggling with what the books are doing, and for that reason, I've got to let it go because it's either over or nothing. You go with a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Are any of y'all billionaires, let alone millionaires? Because, yeah, these guys win at a better rate, guys, at the end of the day. They're hitting 70+%, and they are raking in money, guys. At the end of the day, we want to be with them. We want to be with them. Their job is to take VIG both ways, and they are happy. Not to sit there and be like, here, bet the fucking under. We'll take 90% of that under money from you kids today. I got some under money. But yeah, maybe that was a little too far, huh? But who gives a damn? It's either over or nothing for me, guys. And I haven't pulled the trigger because I'm a vagina. Next guy on the board is number uno in the black book, guys. He needs to go down in the black, the historian black book. He get a spot on Mount Rushmore. Spencer Strider versus the Diamondbacks, striking people out at a 37% clip last year while walking people 7.5% of the time. Well, I kind of said 37%, like made a big emphasis on it. I don't know why, because that's his career strikeout rate too, guys. It's not like that's anything special. Morning line was 8.5 at +116 on DraftKings. The best line available now is +115 on MGM. Pitching outs were not available, whereas earned runs were at 1.5 -143 juice to the over. Lineup is out, 5 lefties and 4 righties. Let's talk old McStrider.
All right. So I saw the comment from Jeffrey that Strider at 8.5 plus money seems sketchy. I don't know if it's necessarily sketchy because when you look at the Diamondbacks, this is actually one of the most elite. Actually, it's the most elite contact team in Major League Baseball so far this year. They rank in the top 5 in lowest swing rate outside of the zone, highest contact rate outside of the zone, highest contact rate overall. They have the lowest swinging strike percentage at 8.4%. Whenever you're under 10%, I don't care if it's only 10 games, 10-ish games, doesn't matter. 8.4% they're swinging and missing. That is absurdly good. And a 25.7% called strike plus whiff rate, which also ranks in the top 5. So they have some elite contact guys on this team. So I'm guessing that that's probably why you're getting the plus money for this one. Strider against this, I ran it against the projected lineup. It might be a little different against the actual. 44 plate appearances, 17 strikeouts for a 38.6% K percentage. So he actually has struck this lineup out. And you talked about the breakdown between righties and lefties. Strider at home, K'ing righties at 44.8% over the course of his career. I just want to take a second to just respect how fucking absurd that is. 44, that 1 out of every 2 right-handed batters he strikes out. I don't care who you are, that is insane. For this one, whenever I look at Strider props, I had a kind of a standing rule last year where I would only look over. I would never look under, and I don't know if I can go under, or I'm sorry, I don't know if I can go over against this Diamondbacks team. So for me, it's either under or nothing. And when that's usually the case for me for Strider and DeGrom, when he's healthy, I just look to just.
You mean over or nothing? You just
said
said
over or nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Over or nothing. I just look to pass.
Yeah, but you know who don't pass on old McStrider? He owes me money, but that's not the reason why I bet him, guys. Old McStrider had a farm, and on his farm, he fucking hooked me last week. As obviously I'm talking about where Strider was an 8.5 last week and ended up on 8 punch-outs. Now, the cap was spot on, and I'd play that bet 100 times, and I'd hit it at least 80%. I knew he was going 90 pitches last week when the books didn't, and he still came a little short. But he had the opportunities, and that's all you can ask for, really. Now he gets the Diamondbacks at home. As he's seen them 2 times last year, he went 6 innings in both games, having 7 strikeouts in Arizona and 13 in Atlanta. And it comes to no surprises last year, guys, as he matched his career numbers, and he has over a 6% higher strikeout percentage at home than on the road. Yet his road strikeout percentage is pretty much better than everyone else's home or road K percentage because he is that dude. And I've talked about it the past few seasons on this show, guys. DeGrom used to talk about this. It's called my gladiator theory. As the electricity from the home crowd gives these type of pitchers that extra to strike them out. Think of 50,000 fans 20,000 of them with mustaches on, all standing up, screaming like they're freaking the emperor with their thumbs pointing down, just so they could cheer for a strikeout. And he responds 40% of the time with what they ask for. Now, there is very little hitter versus batter stats to go on, guys. 5 guys have seen him with 6 bats or more versus him, and he's struggled in the past to put away Jock Peterson and Perdomo. Yet Corbin Carroll and Grichuk, who was projected, struck out half of their at-bats, and Marte struck out 40% of his. The ones who've seen him 5 times or less, they fared terribly against him. And the one who ain't seen him, Eugenio Suarez,
he's a walking strike. He's a walking strikeout.
Now, the line opened up at 8.5 plus money, guys, and there was money coming in on the under to start off, and then they just kept it right around where they've had it at all. And I get it. Just like last season, guys, they're still elite at not striking out, as well as taking their walks at an elite clip. Yet, who have they seen yet this year? As they opened up this year versus the Rockies, who I'm not looking to bet on any of their pitchers, as well as the Yankees, where the only right-handed pitcher they seen was Gill, and that guy went 6 strikeouts and 4.2 innings of work, but yet he did walk 3 batters. Still a guy I wouldn't look to run to the window to go bet his over. So all in all, guys, they ain't seen no one. And I want in. Yeah, I have no problem paying plus money for a guy that I think he gets 8 at worst and can get upwards to 13 versus this lineup. Yeah, sign me up, guys, because these are all with the numbers of Strider 1.0. This is Strider 2.0, aka Uncle Strider, guys. We've talked about the curveball and shit, guys. So the guys that have fared against him, we'll see how they do with a curveball. And Jock Peterson is in the lineup, no Perdomo, so even better. They ended up putting McCarthy in the lineup, guys, who struck out 4 of his 4 at-bats versus Strider. So Strider at home, getting plus money, and we know the reason why. It's not a trap. Yeah, sign me up. I'm on the 8.5 at +1 fiddle in.
One more thing about Strider, just because I think it just got officially confirmed, is when I do my capping, I always use umpires as a tiebreaker. But for this one, or just make sure that the umpire kind of matches what I'm looking to do. And it does match here. The umpire for this one is Alex McKay. Of the announced umpires for tonight, and there's only a few games that don't have confirmed home plate umpires for this evening. If you organize them by overall strikeout percentage over the course of their career, Mr. Alex McKay ranks numero uno at 24.5%. And in games that he umpires, pitchers have, or the number of strikeouts increases from league average by about 4.5%. So if you needed any more reason to bet on him, you also have a good umpire. His accuracy is pretty reasonable, but he does tend to favor pitchers. He is classified as a pitcher's umpire. So if you needed any more reason, there it is. You have a good ump.
Hey, at JT in the chat, he says, I remember Strider saying he doesn't care much for the crowds, though. That's the away crowds, and that's when they're talking about the Philadelphia Phillies. They only ask him crowd questions about that because these guys straight up chant, Dono, which happens to be his mom's name. I only know that because the Philly fans are ruthless, bro. So they ask him questions about that crowd. His crowd, on the road, nobody stands up for him to get strikeouts. At home, 50,000 people are screaming for death. It's a big difference, bro. And now I live in the South, and that's the only team within like 5 or 10 states, bro. There's no other fucking baseball team out here. Oh, yeah, bro. They get packed stadiums. I can't wait to go there in Dodger blue. Piss them off. Probably going to get in a fight that day. I make sure I have lawyer money with me. Old filthy rednecks. Next guy up, guys, is the young phenom himself, Hunter Brown, and he gets himself a shot at the Rangers, striking people out last year 27% of the time while walking people 8.5% of the time. Morning line was 5.5 plus 110 on DK, to where the best line available is, I didn't write that in, I'm sorry. Pitching outs under over 15.5 minus 145, juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 minus 127, juice to the over as well. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. Let's talk Hunter Brown.
Yeah. So Hunter Brown in his first start, I have to be totally honest. I all stats aside, when you go and you look at the deeper metrics, not really a fan of what I saw. I know, he went 4 innings, struck out 5, walked 2. Overall, hits and runs and earned runs were fine, but you go deeper into it and you see his four-seamer, which he throws almost half the time, is down by a mile an hour. The spin is about the same, but it's down by a mile an hour. You go and look at his curve, that's down by almost 3 miles an hour. His cutter is the same, and there was a noticeable lack of velo in that first game. Now, where I go with this against the projected lineup from this morning with the Rangers, 50 plate appearances and only 6 strikeouts. That's a 12% K rate. That's not very good. And I also look at his first pitch strike percentage, because throughout his career, 58.8%. And in his first start this year, only 55.6%. Falling behind this Rangers team is not a recipe for success with strikeouts. It's actually not a recipe to stay in the game very long. So I look at all of this, and if I'm going anywhere on this one, I'm probably going to go under. I know it's a low number at plus 150 or at 4.5, but it also is at plus money. And when you factor in the history here, when you factor in the loss of velo, I'm just not sure I can pay any amount of juice to try to take a shot on an over here.
Looks like someone in the chat said he's already moving to a 4.5, bro. So, I mean, you're obviously seeing the right way. And I'm going to talk my little write-up on it. And, man, this is the longest one I got, because the more and more I was getting into it, I was getting a hard on. And then I got to what you were getting to, what you got to, bro. And it's like, oh, dude, he's not Hunter Brown right now. Uh-oh. So, Hunter Brown, guys, opened his year up versus the Yankees, and he did go 4 innings with no runs while he punched out 5, but that was on 88 pitches. And like Cease, guys, Brown came up short by his K prop last week by a hook, and the books put the same number as they should. Now, the question is, can we bet him? As this is a divisional matchup, so we should have some past history, as we do have him seeing them 2 times last year with mixed results. First game, guys, he shined. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, but only had 5 strikeouts. Where in the second game, he didn't make it past 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, and struck out 6. Now, the Rangers' projected lineup has a few new faces, but for the most part, they're the same old guys from last year. And when I ran overs on a K prop versus the Rangers, you had to be able to strike out the left-handed side, as they are a left-handed dominant and preferably a guy who has multiple pitches to strike out left-handers, guys, as this team is just too good to sit on fastball changeup. Oh, this is all they're going to throw me. They're going to freaking get you, bro. Like, this team is legit. They know how to think. They know how to hit. So we go and look at what this dude does, and he strikes out lefties at a 1% higher than what he does righties. So it's like, okay, let's dig a little deeper. He throws a knuckle curve and a split finger to lefties, with the split predominantly only to lefties. Now, he's pretty much only a fastball knuckle curve to righties. So let's just see if any of these righties struggle versus the curve. Simeon can be got with the curve, but he ain't going to be got with the fastball or cutter. Duran is to be got, guys, as he struggles with the fastball and curve just tremendously, as Garcia can strike out on a high fastball, and that's pretty much it. Langford, we ain't got nothing on that kid, as he's a rookie. So I've got him for 3 tops versus the right-handed side. So can he get 3 more? And at the end of the day, I was about to go pull the trigger, and then we get to what this guy comes to. And what he was talking about how everything is down. And he did walk lefties 2% worse last year than he did righties. And his velo, like he said, on his curve and slider are down 3 miles per hour. So I go check it out, guys, as his horizontal movement is down 1.5 inches of break, as well as his slider's freaking down 4.5 inches on his vertical break and 6 inches on his horizontal. This guy ain't right, guys, but so wasn't Bybee. And that's where I can't just run to the table and hit the under personally. Because if he's right, he can get it 6 and now it's moved to 5. But the right side of this is under until he gets right. Bybee wasn't right in his first start, came back versus the Twins and was throwing 94 and perfectly just fine in the second start. So I'd like not to guess when his shit's going to come back. So it's either under or nothing until he does get back. And I think I'm just going to leave this one alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. The under is tempting. Actually, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna take like a small shot on it, I would actually look, because now we're seeing under 4.5 at like plus 125, somewhere in that range. I would actually rather do that than to try to pay juice for an under 5.5. I strongly suspect that he either hits the original line and clears that and gets 6, or the 4 or under 4.5 hits. I just, there's just not a lot of outcomes to me that I can see where he's going to get 5 exactly, hit one, not the other one. I think this is either where the Rangers continue what the history says that they've had, which is a very, very low strikeout percentage against this guy, or Sharpie, to your point, he figures it out and clears the original 5.5. So for me, I'm probably not going to do anything with it. But if you are, I would actually prefer going under 4.5 and getting plus money and not having to pay any juice. And I certainly would not put any significant amount of cash on it.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, me and Spin Doc pretty much talk baseball every day, whether we need help figuring something out or whether we're just telling what we're on. And this is one of the spots, Spin, where I'm going to talk first, because I don't know if I'm betting it, and I'm going to have to, you're either going to convince me or I'm going to leave it alone. But right. I'm going to give my breakdown and then shoot it over to you, because I'm questioned.
I was going to say, as soon as you started talking about that, before you put the graphic up, I knew exactly who you were talking about. So I'm just like, I'm going to bring up my Logan Gilbert right up.
Yeah, we know where we're
I knew exactly who it was. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. Let's talk about him. Logan Gilbert at the Brewers, striking people out last year 24.5% of the time, while walking people 5% of the time. Morning line was 5.5 minus 136 on DraftKings, and now you can get that 5.5 minus 136 over on FanDuel. Pitching outs under over 17.5 minus 152 juice to the over, whereas earned runs 2.5 minus 132 juice to the under. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. This is the game, guys, that's sticking out to me like just a sore thumb, vagina with freaking green shit on it, just like something you should be doing or should not be doing, either which way. Kind of like we talked about with Pablo last night, guys, except the only difference is Gilbert's on the road and Pablo was at home. What I'm getting at is last week, Gilbert was a 6.5 for his K prop. He went 7 innings, 1 earned run, and punched out 8. And the books dropped his K prop, guys. He was a 6.5 last week, and now a 5.5. I'm telling you what, guys, if this don't smell like titties in your face, then I don't know what does. Now, the goal is to see if we can see what the books see. As me and Spin yesterday were able to see what the books were seeing with Pablo. Now, he's seen them last year, and he slayed them. 6 innings, though he did give up 4 earned runs. He had 8 strikeouts. And the only one of this team, guys, with more than 5 at-bats versus him in the past is old Gary Sanchez. And he struck out 3 of his 8 at-bats. So not a lot of past history, guys, and the books do pay attention to past history more than a team's K percentage. Now, very limited sample size this year, guys, but the Brewers are only striking out 22% of their at-bats and also walking 9.5% of the time. Now, the Brewers are projecting 5 lefties, which also favors Gilbert, as last year he had a 25.5% strikeout versus lefties and 2% lower versus the right-handed side, which pretty much matches his career. Last year, his K percentage was 2% better at home than on the road, but yet just 1% throughout his career. So not really much to put into that. So all in all, guys, I just don't see it. I don't get it. Is I have to check the lineup. I have to see their whiff and chase, their chase contact preferably, as this is just a straight trap they have out, guys. They're asking for nothing but over money. It's pinned at the same number the whole day, and you ain't seen one capper out there say under on Gilbert yet. Whether my man does or I'm either going under or not, guys. That's what we're getting to, is everybody and their mom is screaming over. This man just had 8 strikeouts. He just murdered a team that ain't struck out in the Boston Red Sox, guys. And they're going to drop it versus a team he already slayed last year, guys. So the books don't give out free money. I can't figure out why. I'm hoping Spin can tell me why. That way I can go tell my people to bet the under as well. So go ahead, my guy.
Yeah, it's under or nothing for me too. I need to see the lineup like you. The Red Sox actually ran 6 lefties out there against him, and his splits, especially at home, are pretty striking for lefty versus righty. Over the course of his career at home, now I know he's on the road tonight, but I'm talking about the Red Sox game, 26.7% against lefties, 22.7% against righties. And I do believe that played a very, very strong part in what happened with why he got 8. He's traditionally always seen lefties well. He's traditionally always seen lefties well at home. Here's another thing that I see is that while he K'd so many of them, because there are so many of the lefties in the lineup, 4-seamer, average of 95.7, it's down to 94.8. Slider, 88.7, down to 86.4. Even his splitter at 85.6 is down to 82.5. This, again, one start, but you also look at some of his breaks, and some of the breaks are down as well. So you see the horizontal movement on his slider is down a little bit, but it's still down. And you also see that some of the movement on his fastball, especially the horizontal movement, 6.1 inches last year, 5.1. So velo and break are down on his primary pitches. But if the Brewers are going to run 5 lefties, I am going to have to really, really think about this one. If they're running 4, I want in. If they're running 5 or more, I don't know, just because of the way Gilbert pitches. He gets lefties and sees lefties, even lefties that don't strike out much. He sees them pretty well. So I need to see the official lineup for the Brewers tonight. I need to make sure that they're only running 4 or less lefties. But if they do, which the way the books lined it leads me to believe that they might. I know projected has 5. I just have to see what they do, just because he does have, his pitch mix is a pretty great equalizer or neutralizer for left-handed batters. But if you're wondering why because I looked at his velo and I looked at his break and I'm like, the fuck did this guy strike out 8 to a team that only Ks 20% of the time? Like, huh?
You said it, bro, and you gave me a boner, bro. What have I always used versus the Red Sox? What pitch?
The splitter?
I'll fucking run Gosman versus the Red Sox. I would run Ohtani versus. You give me a guy with the splitter, that's the pitch they freaking struggle with.
Yep.
Lefties in the split.
The other thing here too. So Gilbert relies on chase. He is in the 88th percentile of all pitchers when you factor in last year career in chase rate. Now, the Red Sox are chasing at a 33.4% clip this year. That is 2% above league average, which is 31.4. The Brewers are chasing at a 25.6% clip, which is number 2 in Major League Baseball to date. The only team that chases less than the Brewers to date this season is the Chicago Cubs.
Just to say anything to that, I've looked at who they faced. They ain't faced no right-handed, or they ain't faced nobody. They faced a bunch of bums.
Who's that? Milwaukee?
The Brewers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm down. I'm waiting for the lineups anyways, but yeah.
I got to see how many lefties they run out there. Like I said, if it's 4 or less, I'm interested. If it's 5 or more, if it's 5 exactly,
I want to see the lefties if they make contact when they chase. If I need them to be, we need to do our lineup works.
We're gonna have to go deep on this one. Yeah, but I will tell you,
books are saying please bet the over.
Yeah, and for me, whenever I see a situation like that, and Sharpie, I know you're the same. Is whenever they set it like a titty capper play, is that I might not play the other side, but I'm sure as fuck not playing the side that all the public and the titty cappers are going to be on, because that shit is set up to lose. So, and you know what? If every now and then one of those happens to hit, I don't think for more than 2 seconds about it.
man, they're giving me plus money to the under. And they've taken 95% over money all day. I want to be on the side with the multi-million-dollar paychecks, boys.
Yep.
So
All
my
I need
DGen
is 4
parlay,
less lefties.
my
Yep.
DGen parlay today will probably have the under in it, but I don't put a lot of money on that. So I will tweet out if I pull the trigger for the under 5.5. But guys, don't be that sucker, bro. I don't give a fuck if this guy gets 8. They're screaming for over money. Just be careful, guys. If you're like, fuck it, 10 unit max play. Don't be the 10 unit max play. Just lose a unit if you got to, bro. Okay. Don't go freaking kill your kids' freaking life savings on a 5.5 right here.
It's funny you mentioned that. And, before we get to the next picture, this is just general advice from me from, having done this for, this is like my 5th year doing K-props to this level. And baseball is just such a long season. And you have, unlike the NFL, unlike, other sports, you literally have action and shit and all kinds of bets and plays every single day. Like, this is a long, long season. There is no need to go ape shit right now on something that, like, on the surface, like, holy shit, I got to get to the window on that one. I actually just made my first full unit play on a K-prop 2 days ago. Everything else has been a half unit because I'm testing out models, This is such a long season. I promise you, if you follow this show, I know Sharpie will give them to you. I will too. I promise during the season, there will be smack spots. I promise you. Just not in the first 2 weeks.
No. Let's talk about the last guy that we're going to talk about today. Freddy Peralta versus the Mariners, number 8 in the black book, striking people out 27.5% of the time while walking people 7% on the year last year. Opened them up at 7.5, minus 155 on DraftKings. Now you can get that minus 135 on MGM. Pitching outs under over 17.5, minus 150, juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 1.5, minus 145, juice to the over as well. Projected is 5 lefties and 4 righties. Let's talk Fast Freddy.
Okay, well, before I get to Freddy, I want to talk about his opponent here. And good Lord. 30% strikeout rate so far this season to only a 7% walk rate. That's a difference of 22.9%. That is by far the worst in baseball. No team has a gap of 20% or more, except for the Seattle Mariners. You also have, when you look at their swing metrics and you look at what kind of pitches they swing at, it is pretty hideous. I actually track swing metrics every day, and I have this model I load them into where basically if it is significantly above or below league average, it lights up in either red or green. And the team that has the most swing metrics in red for the season so far is the Seattle Mariners. Contact rate outside of the zone, they're at 55.4%. League average is 61.3. Contact rate inside the zone, they're at 82.1.2. League average is 85.1. Called strikes plus whiff percentage, league average is 27.7. They are at 30.1%. They are one of only 3 teams, the other 2 being the A's and the Twins. So that's probably not, well, the A's for sure. That's not the company you want to be in. They're the only 3 teams that are over 30%, where 30% of their pitches are either swung and missed or called strikes. What that says is they are not having good at bats. So look over at Freddy. And does that equal Freddy getting 9 strikeouts against this team? I don't know if I can be on this one, but I'm sure as fuck not playing the under. I have a thing with my VIP that I call No Under Island. And basically it's teams that are banished there where I don't give a fuck who the pitcher is. I don't care if they have a AA pitcher. I will not bet an under against them because they're so undisciplined. Seattle is there this year. And I think Seattle and Oakland are the only 2 that are on that island so far this year. So it's over or nothing.
Thank you, Oakland, for today's money and Beaver money. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Oakland. And speaking of No Unders Island, I had to learn that the hard way because, I'm the biggest Vagine when it comes to unders. Literally, the 2 unders I bet this year, I call spin like, bro, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I going to bet Rodon under, bro? Like, please tell me I'm not fucking.
No.
He's going to come out and have 10 on me today.
Hell no. I was on it too.
But yeah, it's a lot easier for me to bet overs. But No Wonder Island last year was the Angels for me. I had to learn the hard way.
Yep.
But this year versus a lefty, they did what I thought they were going to do the first 2 times. I stayed off of Luzardo because I was worried. I didn't bet the under, but I was like, dude, I think this is under. And then they did it to Puck, bro. So I'm gonna have to trust them the 3rd time, at least versus a lefty, because I think Luzardo's good. Puck may not be as good as I thought he was gonna be. So
but he's got some control. He's got actually overall, like, his velo hasn't looked bad. He's like fucking Rick Vaughn from Major League. My God, the dude just can't stay in the strike zone.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail.
No worries, bro. The de facto ace of the Brewers after they traded Corbin Burns and Woodruff ended up on the IL is Freddy Peralta. And he's had a 6.5 for his K prop last week. He went 6 solid innings, allowed 1 earned run, and he punched out 8. And that was versus a Mets team, guys, that we know you got to have some good reasons to run a K prop over. Stop my write-up right fucking there versus a K prop over. Return. Freddy Peralta got 8, bro. Versus the Mets. Greene's gonna fucking clobber these bitches, bro.
Indeed, he did.
Oh, dude.
I velo right-handed pitchers against this team.
Hey, that have control issues, bro. Peralta has control issues at times.
Don't even matter.
It don't matter. They're gonna. Oh, okay. All right. Back to my write-up. Sorry, guys. Hey,
you see why I like them so much?
I might have to fucking get in there, bro. I might have to get in the car now.
Anyways.
All right, here we go, guys. And like I said, you have to have good reasons to run a K prop over. Now, the Mariners are one of those teams, guys, that the books know people are not looking to bet unders on, so they have to adjust it up, at least one. And they added juice to that one that they did last week, guys. And they know they don't hand out free money. And they do not want 90% of the money on one-way tickets. They're going to get that from Peralta. They know that, so they jump them up and they add juice just in case. So they've got ways to at least make money, guys. They're not out here giving out free candy, guys. That's just not their job. So just like how my boy Spin just said, started us off like, there's no way I'm betting under versus the Mariners. Like, the books know that, guys, so they've got to adjust. They're going to adjust to teams like the A's and that, guys, and that's what you got to bring into your capping. And no matter how much he's done and everything sets up for this guy to have a great day, I'm not going to just get into it and sell you a pipe dream. Sharpie don't play that shit, guys. I do not do what the books want me to do. They want to jump them up like that for no freaking reason. I'm not going to bet it, guys, even though it's either over or nothing. But it is what it is. Life's a bitch and you marry one. And I just don't chase, guys. And to me, that's being pushed up because of who the Mariners are. And I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I'm not going to look to go bet under. But if you want to bet the over, don't hate you. I just have my rules. And my rules say you don't chase because just because the books know we got to find our advantages in other spots with the books. We want to go with the books, guys. So at the end of the day, it's an easy stay off for me, even though it's either over or nothing. And if he doesn't hit it, it's because, like we said, he's freaking can be uncontrollable. This fool will end up walking like fucking 4 or 5. So, yep. And it's usually in like the 4th inning, 5th inning. He just falls apart. You'll be cruising. You're like, oh, Freddy Peralta, 5 through 3. Didn't get 6. That's what he did to me last year, bro. I was like, what are you freaking doing, Freddy? Yep. What are you doing? So, yeah.
Oh, one more just game that we didn't talk about. If you are looking at strikeout props and you study umpires at all, you will know that the patron saint of over props is none other than Mr. Bill Miller. Has the widest strike zone in baseball. And when in games he umpires, strikeouts go up by almost 12 to 15%. He is behind the plate tonight for the White Sox versus the Royals. That's not a game that we're going to do. I know that's not pitchers that we're going to do. I'm just saying this is just really for anybody. If you're looking at strikeout props and you want a tiebreaker, go look and see as Bill Miller umpiring, because the shit he calls as strikes is just outrageous. Pitchers get gifted strikes and strikeouts when it comes to Mr. Bill Miller. So I'm only mentioning that just because we're talking strikeout props. And in the future, if you ever on the fence about one and you want a tiebreaker, if Bill Miller's behind the plate, you go over.
Or you don't go under if you like the under and Bill
Miller's
behind the plate.
He's he makes it very, very difficult for hitters to take pitches. If you want a tiebreaker for unders, you're going to look at Alfonso Marquez. He is the patron saint of unders. He's got the tightest strike zone. So if anybody wants any more info about umpires, just hit me up. I got a whole repository of them.
Here we go, bro. As always, it's a pleasure to talk the next best thing to God with you, bro. And we ain't on no channel where we can't talk or promote ourselves. So let them know what you got going on, where they can find you, and your Discord that you've had going for a few years.
Yeah. So at SpinDoc Sports, just the name that I have for my name here, and on Twitter, I'm gonna drop Hunter Greene here in a second, and I'm pretty sure I should have 2 tout plays tonight. Those are the free ones that I give. So far, 2-0 for the season. And actually 3-0 if you played the unofficial one that I backed out of with Keller with the rain delay the other day. And lifetime, the tout prop is hitting. We're up 58 units and hitting at about 63%. So that will become that. I'm going to drop Hunter Greene here in a second, and then I should have one more tonight for everybody. And then Win the Day VIP Discord is the one that I've been co-running for about 3 or 4 years now. So anybody who wants any info on that, we have all sports, all everything. Go ahead, hit me up. We can get you in there. We can get you in there for a free trial for the weekend too. And then if you wanted to continue, then we can talk about that. So just hit me up, DM me, and like I said, I can get you a weekend pass.
There you go, free trials, bro. Y'all better fucking hit him up. Better hit him up. He giving out free weekend passes, bro. Get in there, guys. Man, we got 60 people in here live. Appreciate you all. He should have 60 free freaking weekend memberships, guys. Why? Because he's been putting money in your pocket, guys, for just as many years as I have. He's been on my shows ever since they've been around. So get in there like swimwear, as y'all should know the drill. If you haven't already, guys, smash the like. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. This show isn't sponsored by no one, and it will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. I will drop all my bets on the days of the show like I did with Scooble today. We threw it out on Twitter beforehand. I'm not going to be stingy on those days. I'm giving you my bets. If the game goes off before the show, I'll tweet them out. I'm hitting almost 72% this young season. God, please keep it anywhere near that shit for the rest of my season. But if you want to join Team Sharpie, guys, and get all my bets the days we don't do the show, DM me on Twitter at Sharpie's Bets. And until next Tuesday, stay solid. Keep those bankrolls freaking clean, fellas. The key is to withdraw, not to place 100 bets a day.